While delivering millions of dollars for the client, the cash truck is robbed by robbers disguised as construction workers. Many weeks later, a man named Hill applies to become a security guard at that cash truck company. After taking tests such as fitness, firearms, and truck parking, he received a 70% mark and gets accepted. His boss, Bullet, introduces him to his colleagues, Dave and Bob, and they get to know each other. Then he is provided with a pistol, and Bullet informs Dave that Hill is now his new working partner instead of John. Dave isn't happy to have Hill as his partner, and he scares him by telling him how dangerous this job is. While on the way, Dave lets Hill know that 2 guards were murdered on this road. He was meant to drive the truck that day, but by good fortune, he was sick. They later arrive at the bank to pick up $2 million, and Bullet is impressed with how Hill handles the cart. However, the other guards aren't happy to have Hill working here as well. As Hill's first day is over, Bullet calls him to have some beer and play pool. Meanwhile, John is getting mocked by his colleagues because he allowed Hill to take his job. Wanting to prove that he isn't scared of Hill, he goes to confront him and ends up embarrassing himself. While Bullet is dropping 10 grand for his client, Dave wonders what takes him so long. Then he hears noise and heavy panting from Bullet's walkie-talkie. He realizes Bullet is robbed by the robbers, and one of them instructs Dave to give them the cash that is loaded in the truck. Dave panics and wants to drive away, but Hill calms him down and urges him to save Bullet. A while later, Dave arrives at the robbers' location, and Hill throws the cash bags to their truck as they ordered. He pretends to miss one bag on purpose, and when one of the robbers comes out to pick it up, he takes him down and wipes out the remaining robbers.
Suck my fucking dick!
Suck your own dick.
The FBI is impressed that Hill managed to take down 6 men without even a scratch. They are even more impressed to find out that his training score is average, but his shooting was unambiguously precise. They provide him with the security footage of the cash truck that got robbed in the past few weeks and ask if those robberies are connected with the men he encountered. He watches the footage closely on one of the robbers and finds they have no connection. The company manager, Terry, informs Hill that he will transfer him to desk duty due to the violent incidents. Hill protests that he only did what the company hired him to do. Meanwhile, the owner of the company, Blake Halls, approaches Hill to thank him for what he did yesterday and allows him to take a day off. Halls discusses with Terry that Hill is exactly what they need and advises him to promote Hill instead of punishing him. Later that night, a woman approaches Hill to provide him with the company personnel files, a picture of Dana's family, who is his colleague, and the autopsy report. 3 months later, as Hill is at work with Bullet, they are intercepted by the robbers. After they notice it is Hill, the robbers panic and immediately retreat. Terry doesn't believe what Hill just told him, but Halls encourages Hill to keep doing this, and soon he will have his own calendar and merchandise. Bullet doesn't feel right about Hill and tells Dave what happened earlier. Hill manages to get Dana to sleep with him and wakes her up in the middle of the night to talk for a bit. He finds a box of cash in her house and asks her to explain it. She reveals that she stole it from her previous workplace at Grande Liquor. She also tells him that she was working there alone. Hill allows her to keep that money, and he threatens to kill her family if he finds out she didn't tell him something that he needs to know. 5 months earlier, we find out that Hill is the ringleader. His man, Mike, contacts him, saying that he needs him to keep an eye on the cash truck because Brendan, one of his men, was knocked off his bike by a drunk driver, and Moggy, another man of his, is surveying the depot. Mike only needs Hill to tell him what route the truck is going and confirms there was no danger at all. Hill hesitates at first because he is with his son Dougie, but as there is no choice, he decides to do it. Hill stops near the depot and gets out to buy burritos in order to get the truck's direction. Meanwhile, the truck is intercepted by another group of robbers disguised as construction workers, and Hill's son is killed along with 2 security guards. Hill is shocked to see that and also gets shot by the same robber who killed his son. 3 weeks after his son was killed, he finally gets out of the hospital, and his wife divorces him. Brendan claims this as his fault, saying if he hadn't been hit by the drunk driver, Dougie would still be alive. Hill wants to know who pulled the trigger, and his men do everything they can by kidnapping robbers to interrogate them, but those guys don't have the answer. Mike later kidnaps another robber and tortures him until he reveals that it is the Gashi brothers. Hill and his men discover the location of the Gashi brothers and find out they aren't the robbers Hill was looking for, so he puts those guys to sleep except the girls. Mike advises Hill to take a break from this and suggests they should find another way. Hill then changes his identity into a brand new person and works in the cash truck company to investigate the staff. This is also the easiest way to find his target robbers robbers as he knows they will rob the cash truck again someday. Cut to the point of view of the robbers who killed Hill's son. In the past, they were struggling to find a job and Carlos complained about his boss who was dripping in gold and never gave him overtime pay. Jan suggested they should make him pay, and later that night, they robbed Carlos' boss's belongings and cash. After the split, each of them isn't satisfied with what they got, so they plot to rob the cash truck, and what's easy for them is that one of their men was working there. Their plan is completely successful, and they plan to rob another truck that loads at least $6 million. They follow their plan by dressing up as construction workers and succeed in robbing this one as well. However, Jan is the one who killed Hill's son, and he also injures Hill deeply. Back to the present, Jackson, the leader, arranges a new huge plan for his men to rob the depot on Black Friday, loading $150 million. Jackson can't guarantee they will succeed on this one, but if they do this right, they will never have to work again and they have 8 weeks of recon and planning. As the day comes, Jackson tells his men to get ready and he comes to pick up Jan. It is revealed that Bullet is the imposter working in that cash truck company. He is one of Jackson's team, and he helped them by telling them which cash trucks to hit. Hill realizes his target robber is with Bullet after he reveals his team killed 2 security guards and a kid. Bullet needs Hill to get his team into the depot and asks him to team up. Then he agrees without hesitation. As they meet at the warehouse, Jackson ties Hill's hands and lets 4 of his men go with Bullet. They successfully get into the depot and take Hill as a hostage to secure the safe room. They go to take over the control room next with Bullet as a hostage, and then the shooting occurs. After a while, they wipe the guards out, but also cause Brad a heavy injury. Jan opens the gate for Jackson to enter, and they start to pack up the money into their bags. While Carlos is being distracted by the shooting outside, Hill takes this chance to choke him out and helps untie Dave and Terry. Hill pretends to be Carlos by wearing his body armor and manages to take down Sam. As Dave and Terry are in danger, Hill shows up to save them from Tom, and it almost costs him his life. However, 3 of the robbers are already dead, and Hill shoots the remaining robbers to delay them until the SWAT team arrives, but sadly he gets taken down by Bullet. Not knowing that Bullet is the imposter, Dave reveals himself and gets shot as well. Only Jan, Jackson, and Bullet make it out alive. As they arrive at their hideout, Jackson doesn't seem to make it since he got shot in the neck in the previous shooting with Hill. Before the mission, they discuss that if there is a last man standing, he will need to split the money among all of their families. Knowing that Jan isn't trustworthy, Jackson attempts to kill him and leaves the money for Bullet to manage, but it doesn't go as he planned. Jan acts quickly, and he and Bullet get the cash bags to another car that they arranged in the underground tunnel. Bullet feels that something isn't right with Jan after the death of Jackson, and he also attempts to take him down. However, he is too slow, as Jan has already set up to kill him first, and he drives off safely with the cash. He later finds a phone ringing in one of the cash bags and discovers that Hill is already in his apartment. Hill hands the autopsy report of his son to Jan to read, and there are 4 parts of the body that Dougie was shot at by him: the liver, the lungs, the spleen, and the heart. In the end, Hill seeks revenge for his son by taking those body parts of Jan as well.